KPMG was, quite frankly, I wouldn't want to offend people, but quite frankly, boring. Whenever I was alone, I would start researching things, and we were not allowed. This is completely bootstrapped in the sense that I literally saved the money that I have earned. करना है, जाके देखते हैं. There's nothing to lose because I literally told him I have this much money. That's it. The kind of highs we saw during 2020, 2021, 21, 22, we saw those many lows. We were in about 33 cities, and post that we came to 8. I was lifting the gonies, okay, so it was built on it was built on scraps. It was my highest selling product. It was selling like hot cakes, I kid you not. It was so good. Killing the product was a big stab to the heart.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Breaking Uneven podcast. We love to talk shop, uncover the beauty of failures, and play a few games. Today we have with us Anuja Jadhav, founder of Kokos Natural. Anuja, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling good, pumped and excited.
Okay, great. So Anuja, you went from being an analyst at a Big Four to business school in London to manufacturing in pharma to a senior analyst at another Big Four, and then finally the food industry.
Yes, that's good.
Is that a good description?
Absolutely.
Cool. And since that's what's brought us here today, we're going to play a quick little game to delve into what you do more.
Okay.
Perfect. So we're going to play the Twitter pitch challenge. Twitter is known for its 280 character limit on every tweet, which sometimes makes it a little difficult to convey your thoughts. So we're going to give you 20 seconds to let us know what Kokos Natural is. And we won't make it that easy. You also need to use one emoji and one hashtag in your tweet.
Uh-huh. Sweet.
So if you're ready,
then
we have
okay.
We have a stopwatch, and you have 20 seconds to tell us what Kokos Natural is. So 3, 2, 1, go.
So we at Kokos Natural are striving to bring awareness and attention to the Indian superfoods that exist in the country. And we do so all the while by empowering the farmer community as much as we can. Hashtag is switch to healthy and a green leaf emoji.
Nice.
Ooh, not bad.
Good, yeah.
That was crisp, clear. You got the hashtag and the emoji in. Good job.
Thanks.
Cool. So we're gonna go straight to the beginning of the food industry, right? So you were at KPMG, and then what happened there that prompted you into the food industry?
So KPMG was fully very analytical and numbers, and quite frankly, I wouldn't want to offend people, but quite frankly, boring. So I knew somewhere like manufacturing was always something I wanted to do, but maybe that was like a longer dream of mine. So I thought that I'm going to do something. But rewinding a little bit back, when I was in London in CAS, and I was in the entrepreneurship program, and I had a friend who during breaks we would go and get some snack. And she was Dutch, and she would love coconut water in the Tetra Pak Vita.
Yeah.
It was horrible. She loved it, okay, because she's like, oh my god, it's so cool. I was like, have you had the actual Indian coconut water? Come on. She's like, once, I traveled to Bangalore and I've had that, and I was like, this is not it.
Yeah.
So I think we just got to talking, and it became like an idea where she's like, we should see this space. And I remember once walking down Oxford Street, and there was this cart, and this is a good 11 years ago I'm talking about, and there's this cart selling coconuts, which is shaved a little bit, and then coconut water in the coconut, and he was selling it for £6, which is 600 rupees back then. And I was like, oh, I can source it for like what, 10-15 rupees, again 10 years ago, and I can sell it for 600. It seemed like a good plan. So, and as naive as I was back then, so I've come back to India, and I've started talking to her about coconut water. And she was Dutch, so I was like, I'm going to export it to you, and you're going to distribute it through Europe, and that's how we'll take it from there. But as we started working on it on paper, it failed incredibly on paper itself because of the weight of the coconut and the freshness that has to be maintained. So all of that didn't work out for us at all. But I guess that was at the back of my mind. So when I was working in KPMG, I used to I had a client, a telecommunications client. So we would be in their office, and I would sit in that cubicle, and whenever I was alone, I would start researching things. And we were not allowed, really to do any other things back at when I was working. So I used to hide and do that, but there was this one guy who was working in that company who saw me do this, and he's like, "What are you doing?" And it's interesting. Whatever you're doing is interesting. I want a piece of that. He's now my business partner, guys. So,
Yay.
so yeah, and he happened to be from my school, so we got to talking, and we were like, okay, next thing, let's meet at this, let's meet outside for a coffee. Let's talk about this, and that's how we started with, because I was researching coconut as an entire fruit, and then that got me to understanding what coconut sugar was, just understanding it, but then visiting the coconut board, and I think we must have done some 50 odd trips to south of India back then to just understand the product, and that's how it began.
Yeah, I mean, our next question was tell us about the coconut.
Yeah.
Because you're very proud of your coconut.
Oh yeah, I think it's because it started with such a humble coconut thing, but you
Yeah.
know, coconut sugar out of it, and it's so labor intensive. When you see it happen, you really have a lot of respect for what they do, and it's when people do complain about things being expensive, but when
Yeah.
somebody goes to the farm and sees it, we have to give them the due.
So, what was step one to actually getting into it? How did you begin? Did you find a supplier, or did you find?
Yeah, so no, so like I said, I did some 50 odd trips there,
Yeah.
right? So that was like my Reiki research kind of a thing. So I would go to Tamil Nadu, and I knew that Tamil Nadu would make the more tastier coconut sugar, because the the sap is collected from the coconut flower that bears the coconut fruit later. So the thing is that Kerala is more into coconut business, so they are not going to do coconut sugar, because the tree that the sap is collected from coconuts will not grow, right? So that's the reason why it was Tamil Nadu. But when I went to Tamil Nadu, it was like a lot of touring and a lot of touring farms and language barriers that we had to overcome. And we did have like this young guy who was our translator, and he took us around. And actually, that was when I understood that there is a lot more than coconut sugar, but that's how it actually started. So going there, talking to the farmers, and because coconut sugar is so labor intensive, you have to have like a much larger farm, or like this entire team of farmers who come together and make this product, because it's very labor and time consuming. So I think that's the reason why that is more commercial. This product is more commercially made, but the rest of my products, very interesting stories behind that as well, and all of them are made by these very local one family farmers.
Wow.
So yeah,
That's
it's very
cool.
interesting.
I think like I find every like where the idea stemmed from, like overall, that's like
Oh,
the
yeah.
most exciting part.
It's very
And
interesting to
given
hear.
that, like yours was from a walk on Oxford Street, looking at a 6 pound coconut, and then that's become this. Like that's really cool. But yeah, like starting from scratch, like how are you? Given that you look at like find these local families, how did your like networking aspect start, or how did you try and like find these people to make the products
Right.
that you wanted?
So one of the things that we did, like when we went for coconut sugar, as I said, they were bigger farms, right? But when we understood that south of India did have a few more superfoods that we did not know about, because in the retail market they weren't so prominently present,
Yeah.
but they were present there locally in their local small stores, so we could know what these products are. And so, for example, when I was traveling from point A to point B at one point between these farms, and they're beautiful, and I this is TMI, but I needed to use the washroom, and I was looking for a clean house, because there's nothing else there. Right?
Fair,
I just
yeah.
have to find a house and somebody. So I was just looking, and there was this house that looked like sort of clean from the outside, and I was like, I'm going to stop here. I did have my translator with me, that small boy, and my business partner as well. So we basically got down there. We asked if we can, use the washroom. There, yeah, of course, they're very gracious, and we went inside. So while I was inside, and they offered water and all that, and I saw that they had their own huge backyard of a farm, and they were actually growing bananas, and of a typical kind, and that's the exact kind that you use in the, banana flour. So and I knew about raw banana flour. I had researched and read about it. I was just not actively looking for farmers that time, and I'd also taken a little bit of training for how to make banana flour. So I'd gone to some farms in Maharashtra, and so I sort of like understood how that is made, and what machine is required, or there's no machine really, it's just a handmade thing. So I was like, okay, let me talk to these farmers, because they have the produce right there, it's so fresh, and they're making it themselves. The family of like, I think 8 people now grow to 12, I guess, those family of farmers. And so we kind of convinced them that you grow your bananas and you sell them, right? would you be open to making banana flour out of this? And they're like, they were obviously skeptical in the beginning, and then it took a lot of convincing. But once they knew that there was a bigger profit margin there, and till date, they're one of my suppliers. So
Your entire thing is based on chance. Like, this is crazy.
it's very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it also is because
It's all
I'm very
related to
talkative.
you. It started
I'm
because you
very
were thirsty on Oxford Street.
Oh yeah.
And it's
Now-
continuing because you wanted to pee on in Tamil
Yeah,
Nadu.
see, it goes from Thursday thirst to the peeing, yeah.
The
but
full
I'm
cycle.
the full cycle. No, but I'm very talkative. I that's the one thing that I think I think I talk too much to people. So I think I start to, like, I don't know, get bounce off ideas and do something. Maybe that, I don't know.
Yeah.
So whenever we do an episode, I while speaking to the founder, I'm thinking of titles, right? When we upload this, so far I've already got KPMG was boring. That's potentially one title. Then we've got my business started because I was thirsty on Oxford Street.
Wow.
Then there's so
Yeah.
I feel like it's gonna be
As
tougher
long as
to-
it's not from being thirsty to peeing, I'm good with
That's the most clickbait title now we need. My business started because I was thirsty and wanted to pee. But yeah, okay, going back to your business partner, how did that happen? Like, he saw you working on something, and then how did that translate into you all working together?
Yeah, so I knew that going in, I knew that I had certain things that I am not very good at. Okay, I just knew that. So even when I was researching, in the back of my head, I knew I need a partner in this. Secondly, this is completely bootstrapped in the sense that I literally saved the money that I have earned. I have this big ego, in a way,
I get you.
where I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this on my own. Ego in a good way. I mean,
Yeah.
and I don't want money from anybody or things
Yeah.
like that. So it's like, I want to do this on my own. So I kind of saved that money. So I knew that I'm going to need a 50% partner to put in the money as well. So I knew that. So when he kind of looked at what I was doing, and he's like, it looks interesting, and and he would obviously be on his own, and he was just quiet, and he's completely opposite to me, and quiet, and he was doing that, and so, and then we happened to be from the same school. I didn't know him. He was my senior in school, but I had no clue. And I think, have his name saved as Chirag Scottish, because that's how I put it. And I've literally, like, okay, then we got to talking, and he's like, we can't talk here. Let's just meet outside and talk about this. And I think we met over coffee, and I still remember we were having coffee in Starbucks, and the opposite footpath there was this coconut vendor. So we've gone and asked him all those 100 questions right there, and then that got very, very exciting. And I think the first couple of trips that we took to south of India, just like that, करना है, जाके देखते हैं. There's nothing to lose, right? You're taking a trip down there just to research. There's nothing to lose at that point. So I just think we just went very head on in this case.
So when did, after that conversation, right? Let's say on Egg State, this coffee shop conversation happened. When did you quit your job, and when did your partner quit his job?
Oh, within 2 months. Yeah.
Wow.
It was just one trip that was required for us to know that this could be something. Because none of these superfoods were there in the market at that time. None of them. We were the first ones to do it. So it was a big deal.
And like agreeing on, for example, how much money to put in, when to quit the job, etc.
Yeah.
Like those
Yeah.
kind of, because they're big decisions, right?
Very
Very
big.
life-changing
Very
big
big, yeah.
decisions. How much effort did it require to agree on these things? Or was it generally, like at the beginning, was it
I
quite
think it was
natural?
very organic and very, very smooth. Because I literally told him, I have this much money. That's it. I only have that much money. Go for it. I'm sure you have more, but I have this much. Let's go for that. Literally, it was that kind of a conversation. And quitting the job, I think he was also in that phase where he didn't want to do what he was doing as well. And he just, I think at some point we all need a little bit more, or
Yeah.
something different, and especially I think in this generation, I don't think we can stick to one job for 40 years. I don't think that happens.
Definitely
No.
not.
Yeah.
Sorry, one more question. Do you think that a lot of it was natural and happened organically because the two of you were somewhere in the same stage of life, in like kind of wanting to break out from job and just whether
Yeah.
it's age wise,
Absolutely.
goal wise, all of
Absolutely.
these
I think
things.
if he was, I mean, he's married now with a child, but I think if that was the case those many years ago, maybe he would have had second thoughts. Or,
Yeah.
about leaving obviously a job and consistent income. So that would have obviously been a problem. But I think because we were in the
Yeah.
same phase, that did help.
Because security also, then
It does,
there's
yeah.
like a
Yeah.
security blanket you want, or you have that risk appetite earlier
Yeah.
where you are willing to try new things
Yeah,
and
the
see
age
where it
also,
goes.
yeah. The age also, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so then, so it started with coconuts, but then you started expanding to other superfoods. So how was that journey?
So yeah, like I said, when I went to south of India and then figured out there were so many more foods that we didn't know about. So like cassava flour or raw banana flour, coconut flour. Coconut flour was heard of, but
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
think we had ever started to eat it really per se. And raw banana flour and cassava, absolutely not. I don't think we ever ate those kind of flours before. So so I think that is how the product discovery happened for us, like what product to sort of choose and what to do and everything. And because we went down the path of gluten-free flours, then we started to do that. So basically, the basic idea of this entire Kokos Natural is healthy alternatives. So basically, alternate ingredients of alternate food. The idea being that if you've grown up having upma all your life, or dosa all your life, or a particular kind of breakfast or meal all your life, or roti or whatever, I don't want you to switch to muesli or
Yeah.
oats or things like that. I would want you ideally to have what you had all your life, just possibly replace it with a healthier version of the ingredient.
Fair.
So that was what the idea was. So while we did the research in south of India, then we understood that every region has their own variety of healthy alternatives that people do locally use. It's just not there everywhere. So then that became like a focus that we need to make this reach every kitchen in the country and then globally.
Nice. So, in terms of all the products that you have so far, which is one that you will never bring to Kokos Natural, and why would you not sell that?
That would be all the sugar, the alternate sugars like erythritols and those kind. I think I would never sell that. Because I think it's personally, I don't think that they're healthier. They're not natural once you process it. For me, once you process something, is not natural anymore. And so if you're going to process something, that's not going to be natural. So I don't think I could do, yes, I could do jaggery, I could do
Dates.
date syrup, or all of those things, honey and everything. But I don't think that I would go as far as an erythritol to sort of be under my
So,
umbrella.
two questions here. One is, how did like in COVID, of course, there was a huge health boom in India, right? People wanted to be
Yeah.
healthier. They were looking internally. They were cooking themselves. So they first time started seeing
Yeah.
ingredients and stuff like whatever, a bunch of different things. How was that for you? I'm assuming it would have been a huge uplift for you.
So during COVID, 2020 to 2021 possibly was the period where people were crazy about healthy food and healthy
Yeah.
alternatives and gluten free and all of this. So my sales, I think, went really high in that year. And having said that, the funny thing is, after COVID, I think there was revenge eating because I think the entire thing shifted. I think they all cooked, they all ate healthy, and then after that, I don't know what happened and tipped the scales that they all wanted to go out and eat. I think the restaurants did
Yeah.
better post 2020,
Yeah.
and kind of recovered, or what I mean, I'm sure they went through their bad phases as well, but I'm just saying that the kind of shift was very, very sharp. So the kind of highs we saw during 2020, 2021, 21, 22, we saw those many lows, and that was really quite it stung us really badly. So yeah, we in fact are still recovering from that. So it's
So
been tough.
that brings me to my second question. So, like from reading about what founders have said, like for example, for the Whole Truth founder, and like other companies that are tackling health, but from a product perspective, like final
yeah.
product, not ingredient, their outlook is, for example, now let's say I want to eat healthier. Now that's my choice as an individual, but I'm staying in a family with 4 people, 5 people in
Yeah.
one house, right? So I don't want to introduce coconut sugar to all of them unless we all decide unanimously that okay,
Yeah,
fine,
yeah,
we'll
yeah.
switch. So it's a tougher
Much tougher.
buy because it's a lifestyle change.
Yeah.
But hey, if I want to have a chocolate
Yeah.
and I see okay, this one does it in coconut sugar, that's healthy.
Yeah.
I'll try this. If I
Yeah.
like it, I'll continue.
Yeah.
So have you ever thought of going into the product side of things?
Yes, I've already registered a new company. Literally this month itself, because I understood this as well as one of the things that really did bother me for many years. As simple as I tell you, on a simple platform like an exhibition, people sell at exhibitions or festivals and things like that. I would never sell an ingredient at such places ever. Who's going to come and buy
Yeah.
an atta
Yeah,
and go
yeah,
back? Like that's
yeah.
never going to happen. So I think once when I did do, but exhibitions were important in terms of like spreading awareness, but I
of
couldn't
course.
sell anything. And I remember doing that in the first, phases of my Coco's journey, where we set up the exhibition and we would then sell brownies or cookies made out of my product to show them that this is what you can make. So please have, and then we would sell that and kind of recover. But like the what you said is that selling ingredients is far tougher than selling a finished product, and that's something that I did realize, and that's why.
The only thing is with ingredients, you have a much larger CLTV. Like
Yeah.
if you've got someone that wants to use coconut sugar, then you've got a huge lifetime value for that consumer.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
the reason why I look at this closely. So my mom's diabetic,
Right.
and during lockdown, we started using hemp powder in her rotis,
Yeah.
and it helped her a little bit. Like
Mm.
it made it like easier to digest and everything, but made it slightly more acidic.
Right.
Recently, we were at a pop up where there was a new company selling hemp flour.
Mm.
So, and the founder was there. I told him that this is what happened last time. He's like, we've tackled it because we've whatever. He
Yeah.
added a couple of ingredients, a bit of hemp oil in the flour, and he said all of that put together will tackle that part of it. So I was like, okay, fine, we'll try it
Mm.
because now I know what the product can do.
Yeah.
I'm happy to purchase the ingredient.
Right.
So it's kind of like if let's say I try Coco's chocolate and I really like it, I'm like, okay, this coconut sugar thing is awesome.
Yeah.
I'll start incorporating it. So I think that's quite a interesting.
So it's actually a journey for the customer. It's an
Yeah.
entire journey for the
Yeah.
customer because you have to try it and how does it go with everything. Even coconut sugar in coffee is great because it has that flavor of caffeine at the end. So it tastes amazing in a coffee and amazing in a tea. Some people would be like, oh, but then can I cook with it? Or they have to do their own trials. And of course, the questions are a lot because you don't know that product. So
Yeah.
I think the lack of awareness is a number one thing, and secondly, of course, being an ingredient is slightly harder to sell.
There's a lot of education
A lot of
around all of this that
Yeah,
is needed. And I think like social media definitely helps in educating.
It's both.
But then you
It's
get
both
yeah,
ways. It's
yeah.
both ways. There's a lot of
Uh,
wrong
fake news,
information being spread a lot, and that's very difficult to tackle. It's very difficult to tackle.
Yeah, no, there was the entire stevia boom in
Oh,
COVID
yeah.
as well. Lots of companies doing stevia chocolates.
Lot of
Which, of course, I didn't know much about the space back then, but that
Right.
time I was also trying to be healthy and
Yes,
everything.
yes.
And I'm a huge chocolate lover, so I bought a couple of them, and it's kind of like how you have a weird aftertaste after having Diet
there's
Coke.
enough. Yeah,
It used to
there's an
leave that,
aftertaste,
and I was like immediately like, okay, I'm never doing any stevia
Yeah.
product again.
Yeah.
So it's also like you need to make sure you get the product right, because if you
Yes.
get it wrong, you're then not just losing the product value,
Yeah.
but the personal
But
kind
that's
of banish the
essentially why
ingredient
that's
as well.
essentially why we have always stuck to natural products
Hmm.
because they are going to have the most natural taste that
A
it
natural
comes in
effect
that
on your
form,
body.
in that
Yeah.
form. So if you like it, you like it. You hate it, you hate it. But it's just going to be that product.
Yeah.
It's going to be in its most natural form. The moment I process it, then it lies in my hands. Okay, is this enough? Is the nutrient value sufficient? Still after processing, is the taste okay or all that? So I think that processing anyways takes out everything that's essential.
Yeah.
So it's best to keep it in its natural form, and that's what tried to do. So, yeah.
Yeah. But you said that after your high in COVID, there was a dip.
Huge.
What was the motivation to continue, and like, how did you process that entire phase?
I think that one part of having that good ego that I spoke about helps because trust me, it feels like no, I still want to prove myself. That was one of the things. But of course, the other things is that you have to give it your last bit of trying. I think that was needed, and we had seen our high. So we refer to 2017 to 2020, 2021 as a honeymoon phase because that was amazing. We did so many amazing, awesome things before COVID. Then during COVID also we had that high of sales and all. But after that, things changed in general. I mean, everybody's bidding on the same word: healthy,
Yeah.
nutritional. All of these organic, and it's not even organic, but it's still they're still bidding on it. They're still putting it on their titles. So it's obviously going to be, and because Amazon is one of our highest selling platforms, and for that, when you bid on keywords, it's a lot of they're bidding wars, and there's so much money to be spent. Like if I was spending like say 5,000 rupees as an example, 5,000 rupees in a month, I would still get a lot of returns, but I mean a good e-cost and things like that. But now if I put 50,000, I still wouldn't get the same because of the whole war on words and things like that. And so that kind of happened as well. The marketing sort of war started even more online, I think. Social media, as well as all these platform marketplaces and all these platforms. And also a lot of these other platforms, the quick commerce and the e-commerce platforms, they were changing their managements. So that was also creating problems for us at the back ends. Then there was offline stores shutting down in different cities. So for example, it was so tough that until 2021, 2020 almost, we were in about uh, 33 cities.
Wow.
And post that we came to 8. So huge drop for us, I think. Yeah, it was really tough because I think because again, these are the cities we're talking about which are tier 2. And because my product doesn't sell in a kirana store, it sells in a what we call like an A grade sort of
Yeah.
general trade store, but an A grade store. So A grade stores and above, if you're selling, then they themselves require a lot of capital to keep it running because it's not going to be a
Of course.
kirana store. So I think kirana stores did really well, but these kind of specialty stores in tier 2 cities were not doing so well. Apart from modern trade, still some of them did well, like Nature's Basket and all. But I think the others, the general trade, A grade, specialty stores in tier 2 cities were not doing so great. So if they are shutting down, I have to,
Yeah.
come back and come out of that city. So that hit us really badly. Yeah.
Yeah, no, and I think like even food halls shut down. Of course, that was part of Future Group's larger
Yeah.
downfall. But before it shut down, I genuinely felt like there was a space for it. And in fact, right now, in place of food hall, there's a
Yeah, there's
food
Food
square.
Square.
Food
Yeah,
square,
Food
yeah.
Square, yeah.
I haven't gone yet, but like I've been dying to go.
Yeah, it's good.
It's good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good.
So I think there is like a lot to be said about a retail distribution network. Like in COVID, everyone was e-com, and like it
E-com.
just became another buzzword.
Yeah.
And now that you come out of COVID, the point is that yes, there are bidding wars. E-commerce is not that easy.
Yeah.
What you used to pay to, let's say, put up an ad on Instagram and have some have some level of impressions with it, today you'll be paying at least 4x
Right.
that compared to like 3-4 years
Yeah.
ago, pre-COVID and everything. And the point of like having a large scale retail distribution is it just helps you get discovered naturally.
Yeah.
And in fact, I heard this on a podcast that I was listening to where the person said that a first time founder is like highly focused on the product, and it's always about like whenever they, even in the pitch deck, right, it's all about what they've
What
done
they've
to the
done,
product.
yeah.
A second time founder is going to talk about how they're
How
going
they're
to
gonna put
get that
that,
product
yeah.
across. And that to me was, I mean, see, it's not like some crazy successful person that said this, but it did make a lot of sense to me because you can have the worst, because I've seen this happen,
Yeah.
really bad products, but
I
just
have
because
to.
they're available everywhere,
Everywhere.
and they've done better than average in packaging and marketing,
Yeah.
shooting up.
Like, not to throw shade, but like that's essentially how a lot of influencers and a lot of like celebrities make brands, because like they
Yeah.
don't focus on
Yeah.
the product, they just
At
have a
all.
distribution
I
channel.
think everybody. I think one of the things that I do, I think should change somewhere or shift somewhere is the authenticity of really how good the product is or bad the product is, because I feel like, say, like, again, not throwing shade on anybody, but influencers, I think in general, what happens is they'll be like, oh, you guys have been asking me for my skincare routine, so here's my skincare routine, and then you'll see hashtag ad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know that this is not your skincare routine. Why don't you just say what it is and or just make it an ad and actually say that, okay, this is what has been gifted to me and this is really cool and this is good or bad or whatever. There are some influencers that are still, I think, doing the job of all those things. But I think, yeah, like you said, that's the whole thing. And I'm a live example of what you said about first founder and second time founder, because I think my first time thing was about my product, because it was niche and it was new and it was something that I'm doing for the first time. Nobody else was doing it. So it had to be all about the product, and it was much easier to get it out there at the time, because I don't think, like, I'm talking as if it was 20 years ago, but it's literally some years ago. But I think pre-COVID and post-COVID is like an era change.
Yeah.
Exactly. I was going to come to that. I think
this-
pre-COVID and
It's a
post-COVID
thing
has
now.
made the same founder a two-time founder.
Absolutely.
Because your
Absolutely.
world changed, so your business can't remain the same.
It
And you
can't be the
have
same.
to adapt to like the ever-changing
Yeah,
world
yeah,
there
yeah.
is.
I know,
Like,
I'm saying COVID was such a big change.
Yeah.
That
It was a
even
big
if
event.
even if your company is
Yeah.
the same, let's say you've been founder of Kokos
Yeah.
Natural, that doesn't matter.
But
After
everything was
COVID, you're a
different.
second-time
Yeah,
founder.
It's
If your
completely
business is still
second
running.
time. Everything was second time, because I think that that it becomes like an era change, because it's like, oh, this was a different era altogether. This was a different era altogether in terms of what you put out in the market.
and how it was
And
done.
how it was, even Amazon. I mean, I was paying a very measly commission to Amazon back 7 years ago, and now the Amazon commissions are sky high. So everything matters. Everything absolutely matters. So I think that time, yes, it was more about the product, and this time it's more about where my product is seen and how much it's seen and how it's seen and all of those things. So yeah, that's essential.
But yeah, no, you were talking about Amazon. How does that work? Like selling on Amazon. Do you think the amount of orders you get or the brand visibility you get is worth putting your products up on Amazon?
Absolutely, because initially I was skeptical, because who buys food products on Amazon is what I used to think, but that's not the case anymore. I
Even
think
they've
it's changed.
changed
That's
to
also
Amazon
changed,
Fresh, yeah.
So I mean, not just Amazon Fresh, but even in general, Amazon people are buying on Amazon food products, because again, e-commerce is more than going into a store and buying it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was available in the stores, but the good thing about Amazon versus, say, even versus social media, uh, I think at one point when I had these budget constraints in the company, I knew that I had to make a shift, and my shift was that I'm going to put majority of my marketing budget on Amazon, because it's a direct sale, because you see the product and you click add to cart.
Yeah.
Versus you're on social
And
media,
you're selling
you need to first grab the attention, then you go on the page, then you might go on the link, and then you may buy. So it's a much longer process. And social media after COVID was really, like I said, like there were wars going on. I think it's there's a lot of money to be put in. And so then, that aside, then I thought, let me just shift my focus to Amazon. And Amazon gave me a great, I think, I have a very, very loyal community that has been formed. Like you said, that it is such an ingredient, like when it comes to ingredients,
Yeah.
and when it comes to niche ingredients, once a person has made that lifestyle shift and gotten your product, they're going to most likely stay with you for a very long time. So that's a good thing that I've.
Also, with these products, you need patience. Like, you have
Oh,
to try them, like, see the benefits, then, like, justify, like, repurchasing that
Repurchasing it, yeah.
and things like
It's a
that.
big thing,
So
yeah.
it's a long
Yeah.
timeline to
Yeah,
get that
yeah.
benefit. But once you do, then it's like,
Then
okay, you're
it's
hooked
no
and
looking
you've
back, yeah.
changed your
Absolutely.
and transformed your
Yeah.
way of being.
So you mentioned leadership skills and position yourself as a strong leader, right?
Yeah.
If you had to choose, gun to your head, the single most important quality in a leader, what would it be, and how did you build that up for yourself?
I think single most important thing as a leader would be understanding the people who work for you. What I mean by that is, it's cliched when I say this, but being a good boss is very cliched to say it. But to be very honest, that's what makes a leader. If you are there to understand what they need from you, you automatically lead them farther. I feel that's what I think that leadership in a team sort of setup works like. I think that's essential, I feel, because you need to understand what they need from you, and that's one of the biggest things that I have learned.
And so let's say, call it empathy or call it whatever it might,
Yeah.
like as a single word.
Yeah.
One, when did you, like, how did you build it up for yourself? And was it something that you recognized after you had it, or did you like really work to build it up?
So I think I've always been the kind of person who is empathetic. In fact, it goes on the scale where it shouldn't be that much. But I think when I started, when my team was getting built within my office, specifically, the packers and the people, the unskilled,
Yeah.
people. Efficiency over there will only increase when you understand what they need from you.
Yeah.
If you're giving them exactly what they need, listening to them, I think, and that's what I kind of got, because I think there was this one point where we were having a conversation, and I happened to step into the unit after a while, and I saw something, and I was like, why didn't you tell me that? It was a very small thing, but I think that small thing led me to think, and I was like, okay, now I need to be more sort of involved in that aspect where I
Yeah.
need to see and understand what they need from me. And once I give them that, then their efficiency is going to be 10x, and that's what I need. They basically take you further along with them. So that's great.
Nice. So yeah, moving on to our next game. It's called Two Truths and One Lie. So to understand a little bit more about your journey with Kokos Natural, we want to play this game. So whether it's a challenge or your biggest achievement, the idea is that you give us 3 statements, from which 2 explains the actual big moment, and 1 is the false statement, and then we have to guess which one is the lie.
Okay. Can it be anything personal?
Yeah. Personal, company, whatever.
Company.
Up to you.
Okay. The first statement is I don't have a gray area. I'm either black or white. Second is I read 10 books a month, at least. And third is I haven't taken a single day of leave in a year. Working from home counts as working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or working on a vacation counts as working.
Yeah. It's
I
funny
can't
that
give that
you
away,
say-
but okay.
Interesting.
No, but it's funny you said that. You'll realize why later.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna say the lie is that you read 10 books, given that you're more of a podcast person.
Okay, wait, let me guess. I feel like there she added the at least after. So like
I
she was
know.
estimating the correct
It
one and
might
then
be,
said
yeah.
at least. I want to say the third one because I feel like it's maybe been like
A few more
6
years.
years. Yeah. I'm gonna go with the third one.
Okay, no, the second one is the lie. Yeah, it is a big lie. I don't read. And, I know it's very against a lot of people. I have
I'm the
even
exact
before,
same.
but even before podcasts have ever been in the picture, I have never read books because for me, I love to. I don't know. I think it's my quirk, or I don't know, whatever you call it. I love to read like papers that are published. I like to read
Wow.
and like articles because I don't have the patience. Papers are interesting because there's a lot of research there, and I love to read all that. Um, kind of a nerd. I was going to put that, and I think to tell a lie that I'm a nerd, but I am also a little bit of a nerd because I think. So I like to read articles or like focus things on one thing, like something short and sweet, and I read about it, I understand or whatever, and it's interesting. Oh, nice! It could be a cookbook, and it could be one recipe, but it's just that I'm not going to sit and read an entire book at all. I don't think I have the patience for it, and it goes very against a few people.
I get
I
exactly
don't
what
think
you
many
mean.
people.
In
agree with
fact,
me.
we had the idea to do like a book review, like a business founder-led book review on the podcast.
Right.
I was like, damn, I'm gonna have to read a book.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
that's like it's a task. I'm like, that is like a lot of prep.
God, I wouldn't do that. And I would
mean,
not.
that
I would
episode
not do
has
this on this episode as well. I would be like, please, no, I don't have a single book I can recommend. Or
Yeah, I got through school on Cliff's Notes and like summarized these things and stuff.
I never read that much during school and stuff like that. And then in between, like I had a phase where I was reading quite a bit. Now it's still like up and down, like here and there. But the switch I made was I stopped focusing on just non-fiction books. I can't do that anymore. I never got the point of reading fiction ever in my life before. And then I started and I was like, okay, you know what? It's a distraction. And like instead of a TV show, I was like, okay, fine, I can read a book.
Oh yeah.
But I would like because non-fiction gets too dry and too much of like information where you're just like, okay, I'm not going to read anymore. So it's
You
the
can
same.
ask me recommendations on TV shows. Like that's
Okay,
something I can do.
I can. So my friend and I have this
That is a
idea.
review I can get on board with.
That's the so friend and I, like we were talking about podcasts and stuff like when this was starting, and we spent hours on call discussing TV shows.
Oh yeah, see.
TV shows and like some books here and there. And we're like, okay, we need to start a podcast where we just talk about TV shows. And promise you
maybe
that'll
the
do
third
it.
host.
Done.
No, but that's that. I think when in school we used to have a reading period, I think that was a thing, and we had this amazing library. It was amazing. I come from a really nice school, so it had a very good library and things like that. And I think till fifth grade I was reading Noddy. I couldn't go and I think ended writing or something. I couldn't go further than that. So that's me. But yeah,
No, wait, what was the first thing you said?
that I'm very black and white. I'm not.
So you are very black and white.
Very black and
Is it? Yeah, it's yes, no,
it's
there's
an
no.
extreme, it's not good. It's not good. I'm either all in or all out. It's a struggle for me to find a balance.
No, but I think
Even when
that
I'm
is
working
good in
on-
decision making. Like it's either
Yeah,
a yes or no.
I'm very fast in this.
That's
You know the
good.
reason why, like the first thought that came to my mind when you said that was, I was just thinking, right, like if you're, because as we were discussing earlier, the gray area of what's healthy,
Yeah.
I'm like, if you're not black and white, like you would have to be to decide that, hey, this is healthy, this
Yeah.
is this is healthy, this
Yeah,
isn't. So I was like, that's probably true.
Yeah, even I didn't question that much. It's also a very like unique thing to say, like as a lie.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a bit too unique to say as a lie, but yeah.
But yeah, no, that's good in terms of like decision making. You're never like fickle minded, or you're never
Yeah.
like.
But it doesn't
maybe
work.
it's
I
the-
think when it comes to
Conflict.
no, I mean there also I'm pretty much like this is right and this is
So,
wrong. Get
yeah,
on board.
yeah.
Like it's really fast for me. I think I make decisions really fast, but that's a good thing. But the bad thing is I think when I work also, if I'm all in and if I'm working and now like I told you I'm doing this new company when I'm going into a finished product and things like that, it's I think I work like 18 hours a day on days. I mean, it's too much, and I want to find a balance there. You know, that's what I struggle with. Even as a founder, I think that is something that you really need to understand the balance. That to because when you're working for someone else, when you come home, you're switched off most likely,
Yeah.
right? Like you have the option to. But usually, when you're a founder, it's just in your head
Yeah.
at all times. So you never really stop working, to be honest. And I think that is where you really need to find a balance. I
get business ideas in my dreams.
Oh,
like
yeah,
ideas for the
wow.
business in my
But
dreams.
I write them down immediately because
Yeah.
I know I'm gonna forget.
I
have
wake
written
up in the
entire
middle of the
list.
night and I text it to someone. So I'm like,
Yeah.
in the morning I have it
It's
somewhere.
there, yeah. Even me too. I mean, in the middle of the night, my sometimes like there'll be a flash of light in the room. That's because like I'm on my phone and I'm like literally in that sleep. I'm writing at least one word to remind me of what that was in the morning.
I think I've dreamt of like an entire business like working on like from scratch to like
Wow.
the end. But it's not happening in real life. It's only happening in my
Because it's
dreams.
easier in the dream. It's just
Yeah.
so hard.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, whatever I wanted to win. No, there's nothing in the dreams. It's all done. There's no restriction.
I literally like every single time, even if I'm walking somewhere, I'll be like, this can also be a business that I can do. Okay, that can be literally it starts
Yeah.
from this mug. Like, okay, if I'm looking at this, I'm like, okay, now I can start designing these kind of travel mugs, and that can be a business or something. Everything. So
So funny enough, I just so Stephen Bartlett has this podcast, and we've spoken about it before, called Diary of a CEO, and now he has like another channel that's called Behind the Diary or something like that, like basically
Yeah, Behind the
BTS of the entire show and his
Yeah.
life. And he released another episode recently, and I was like watching that, and he was like his first investor. When he was talking to him, Stephen went and said that, oh, like I have a new idea and things like that. And the first thing the investor said that, like, you need to focus.
yeah.
Focus on one idea and have a someday shelf.
Yeah.
Every idea that you get that doesn't fit into like the ones that you're working on, put that on a someday shelf and then revisit
Yeah.
that later. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. Because it's so easy to be like, yeah, I want to work on this. But then your like focus
Yeah.
gets distributed on
It's
everything.
basically organization of
Of
your
your-
business
yeah.
ideas. Yeah. That's
But yeah.
actually a good one.
I actually like his behind the scenes. more
I haven't
interesting.
seen that yet. I
Yeah.
haven't heard that yet. Yeah.
It's really cool. Like I like that more than some of his actual episodes.
Nice.
But yeah,
That's good.
check out.
Cool. Let's go to our next game. So this one's called Red Flags. We will be giving you three situations. In each situation, there are two things that are going well and one that's not so great.
Okay.
So totally 9 statements we'll be telling you.
Okay.
And you need to look at all three situations and choose one of them.
Okay.
So situation one is Kokos Natural is now selling over 500 products. Your presence has reached 15 countries, but your latest batch of coconut sugar was wasted due to a supply chain problem. Situation two is your team power is now 500 employees. You have a new business idea that you're very excited about, but your co-founder has to leave the business for personal reasons.
Okay.
Situation three, a large FMCG brand has made an offer to acquire you. Your products are changing people's health massively for the better, but your excitement to go to work has reduced lately.
Oh.
So yeah, you can refer to all of them.
I have a clear winner if I was on your place.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I would actually pick the third one
Interesting.
Really?
because I have gone through phases where my excitement of work has reduced considerably, specifically this past year. But like I just mentioned, I still did not stop working. I think there is something inside my fiber which sort of, I kind of have this thing where whatever hurdles or wherever, when as as a very classic statement, like when you fall down you get up, that kind of a situation. I think that this is something that is, I know I can do it again. It's happened in my life, so I can do it again. And having the other two situations would actually be a definite motivation factor for me. The good situations, that would be a good factor for me.
Interesting. I thought you might have picked situation one.
I could
Yeah,
have.
that
I
was
could have.
my-
That was my second choice.
That was my
That was
first.
actually the second one was out of,
Yeah.
it was not possible. But the first and the third situation was something that I was battling in because of, again, the first situation was again amazing. The first two are really good. And the third one would be like, it's very fixable and it's something
Yeah.
that you can
I feel like
absolutely do very
the
easily.
scale that you are in
Yeah,
situation
yeah.
one, the red flag wouldn't be that.
But I like the fact in situation three that the products are changing someone's health, because I think that this is something that I've struggled with, like the spreading education and awareness.
Yeah.
So if I get that, over the moon.
Well,
Yeah.
So yeah, now moving on to our final segment, which is the rapid fire.
Oh, you have a rapid
Yes.
fire. That's damn cool.
just wait till you listen to our first question.
Yeah, our first question. How many days of leave have you taken in the last year?
Are you really serious?
Yeah,
That's our first question.
I thought you made it out.
That's why she said that's
Yeah.
fine.
Oh yeah. No, I did take leave before that 1 year, but 1 year in the last year I haven't taken a leave.
Okay. Your proudest moment with Kokos Natural.
Oh, when we won the national award
Yeah.
twice, both of them,
What was the one time you felt like you let Kokos Natural down?
every single day. To be honest, in the last year when I've tried to find my bearings, we all have tried to find our bearings here. I think we do feel we have let it down somewhere, or we didn't fundraise at the right moment, or we haven't still done that. Why didn't we do it? We should have done this. Should have, could have, would have is a definite sign of regret every time. And
Yeah.
I think that it feels like you let it down because you could have done better. So I think that happens every day.
I think most times when people feel like they've let down their business, it's not because of something they did do. It's always because of something they didn't do.
Didn't do.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Your favorite Kokos Natural product? If it's not coconut sugar, now my question.
No, there are two. So
Okay.
that's why, because my favorite ones are coconut sugar and beetroot powder. They're on the same rank. I use them every day, so they're on the same rank.
What is the scrappiest thing you've done to build your business?
Kokos Natural was built on scraps. So I kid you not, like, come on, imagine an engineer who's in something like a KPMG. I'm not a CA, I'm an engineer in KPMG. I'm not paid enough. Usme se I saved. So imagine how much money went in. It was really, really small. And it was built on straps. I think it was like, even when I did use my family's pharma, you know that my family has a pharma packaging background in one of their sectors. And they did this printing, and I still remember that when I wanted coconut sugar to be printed by them, I thought I'd get a little bit of a leeway, like thoda sa. There was no discount given, absolute
What?
zero discount. But which is a good thing. I like to
Yeah.
learn in that way. But the only thing I got was like thoda time baad pay kar lena.
Credit
So
period.
that credit period wala thing that I got from them was a blessing, and that's what I'm saying. It was very scrappy. I didn't even have that much. Like if I that amount was not even like 30-40K in a business, and that also I didn't have in the initial batch to pay because everything else needed money. So I think that everything was scraps. Like I was lifting the goonies. Okay, so it was built on scraps. It was built on scraps. Like,
That's another title idea.
Yeah.
Though. My family didn't give me a discount.
nah, boring. Matlab it's heard of, right? Like
Fair,
many
fair.
founders have gone through this, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did. Yeah, but that is very. This is something my mother still tells people sometimes when I come from a particular background of a family, people assume that things
Yeah.
were given.
Yeah.
So my mom is like, "Usne घोनी उठाया है." Okay, so don't say. I've seen that happen. So don't say that she stuck by me. So that's a good thing. That's a
Very
vision
good.
she has imprinted in her
Yeah.
brain.
No, well, fair enough.
But yeah.
Your emotion when you first fired someone.
I actually did not fire anybody.
You
Could
know
you
the
tell your
partner.
Yeah, I did. It's much easier, right? Like I don't want to do that. I said I have too much empathy. Let it just go. But yeah, I think it's better. See something
Your
that is
emotion
very.
was relief that I have passed on the problem.
No, listen, I really feel bad to lose anybody. But at that time I become too emotional also. If that person comes back to me also,
Yeah.
no, I'll be like, yeah, come back. And I'm like, no, like, that's not the example you want to set. But yeah, I'm that kind. So I have to be very careful about that. So,
Yeah, no, I get that.
yeah, but I'm not into that department.
Yeah, now this is an interesting question. What did or will you do with your first profit? So what did you do?
Oh, I put it back in the company.
Oh, I thought you would do something.
No, I put it
No.
back.
What did you do with
I
the
told
first
you.
salary that you took?
First salary?
Saved it for the company.
Yeah, I mean, I think no. The salaries, talking about the profits, yes, they all. I mean, they
That's
all went
fine.
back,
No,
but then
I
I did take salary very late. But when I did that,
Oh, you meant from Kokos.
Yeah.
So I got a KPMG. So I was like, no, she saved it for the company.
Yeah, that I did. But from Kokos, the salary that came from Kokos first came very late. So I don't really remember exactly what I did, but I think I must have just gone out for some fancy meal and then I must have bought myself something. I don't know. I must have done because I used to really celebrate with fancy meals. So, and then
That's good
Yeah,
enough.
that's a good
thing.
yeah, it was like a reward. I think that reward system. And now I think if I my salaries go into travel.
Fine,
Now.
okay. Books or podcasts?
Podcast any day.
iPad or notebook?
iPad.
Are you a morning person or a night owl?
I'm a night owl.
And your favorite social media platform?
Instagram.
Nice.
Say that so regretfully.
I don't want it to be. I don't want it to be, but
You
it
can say
is. I'm
YouTube.
very
You watch
not as much as I would want. No, it's the Instagram still ranks highly on my first opened app in the morning, which is not good. I know that. It's the last thing and the first thing.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
They got us hooked.
Yeah, but like, isn't it crazy when you start?
I love
when
it.
Yeah, I do, but like.
I mean, I love the fact that I love it. I think of Instagram as my meditation.
But it
Because-
is. It's a great distraction for me. When I'm very stressed, I open Instagram and I don't know whether.
Exactly.
But the regret part comes where I don't know whether 2 hours went away when I was scrolling.
Yeah, to us, fair enough. But I
Listen,
think
it does happen.
it
You
happens.
start and then
Yeah.
you don't know whether time is gone.
The
and
rabbit
the
hole.
worst is at night because then you're killing your sleep.
Oh,
But
yeah.
the I think the idea is like, as you mentioned earlier, as a founder,
I don't think she is sleeping 18-hour work days
I-
plus
I-
2 hours on
Instagram.
Instagram.
no, no, but it was happening. Yeah, I mean, I think this literally yesterday, my mom is like, I think this is the first of the 2 nights that you have actually slept. I haven't slept in a long time. It's been a month. I mean, I came back from my trip in end of December, and from there, then I haven't slept.
Wow.
I just haven't slept. I need to.
Oh, yeah. No, sorry, you were saying.
No, I was saying that, like, it's as you said, right? It's impossible to stop thinking of business ideas or about the business and
You get
everything.
them through Instagram also.
Yeah, but the point is, once you start scrolling on reels,
Yeah.
it's such mindless crap that you're viewing
mm.
that
That
at
must
that
be-
point your brain can finally relax.
Relax.
Like if
That's
you're
true.
watching someone making a croissant in one
I love
video,
it.
and then you're watching someone cutting a pipe in the second video. Matlab, what will your brain
Yeah,
think
yeah.
on? It just stops
There's
thinking.
no thinking. There's no thinking. That's true.
My algorithm's not the same. I get a lot of thinking ones also.
The philosophical.
Yeah.
ones, you
Oh
mean?
god, I couldn't handle that.
But I do get them as well.
Yeah.
But
I
you know,
scroll
sometimes I
past them.
feel, see, I know what the phone is listening. I know that. So if I'm talking about this today, I'm going to get podcasts and I'm going to get all
Yeah.
of these things that we've spoken about on my phone today. But apart from that, sometimes I feel like what I'm thinking also my phone knows. It's very creepy because
It
I'm
is.
thinking, sometimes I'm in that zone where I'm say demotivated or I'm not there, like I don't have the will to go to work anymore and things like that. I mean, like rock bottom, and then I see all these posts about motivation, success,
Yeah.
and this and that. I'm like, how does the phone even know that this is what I'm thinking?
But is it called butterfly effect, or what's the thing that, like, basically because you've recognized that thought, you see more of it?
Yeah,
Is
maybe.
it not the butterfly?
It's that, but I also think this is something that the ex-CEO of Myntra once said,
Okay.
is that your phone is not listening to you. And this is his point here was that the problem is a lot creepier than you think it is.
Oh.
Right? See, creepy is your phone listening to you.
Yeah.
That's fine. Okay, it's listening to you, it's giving you products. What it actually is that the kind of data these companies have
Oh yeah.
means that if they look at a 24-year-old guy living with his family in Mumbai
Yeah.
of a certain income level, they know that persona so well.
Yeah.
They know what you will be discussing.
They know everything. They know
They
what
know
toothpaste you'll
everything.
use, the soap
Exactly.
they'll use, the shampoo they'll use, everything.
And
how
that is
more
why you
e-commerce.
feel like what your thoughts are, what your speech is
It's
getting
coming out,
recognized.
yeah.
But it's not that. They just know you in and out better than your mom knows you.
Yeah.
And that's a lot creepier.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, you switch on my microphone and listen to me. Don't learn me so well.
That's true.
Yeah.
It is creepy.
And now with, like, the boom of e-commerce, everything is tracked, right?
Yeah.
Like if
Yeah.
you go to a kirana store, no one knows what you
What
bought.
what, yeah. Now you
But you're on Amazon, everyone knows everything.
Everything.
So
That's
it's
true.
on.
Agreed.
Oh yeah, that concludes our rapid fire segment,
Awesome.
bringing us almost to the end of the podcast. In every episode, we ask the next guest a question. So first, we're gonna ask you what our previous guest asked.
So, you know how they say never quit, right? But that's actually not very realistic. Like at some point, you will have to say no to certain things and you will have to quit on certain projects or your entire company. Was there ever a time where you quit on something and it was the best thing you ever did? And can you give me a little bit of detail on how that went?
Her answer is actually very straightforward.
KPMG. No, but other than that.
Other than KPMG, yeah.
Other than KPMG, I have quit on the idea of something. It's still there, but I've quit on the idea of it, so I can.
No, but it has to be the best decision you ever made.
You can think.
It led me to a good decision.
Okay, yeah, then tell us.
Yeah.
Maybe because I've really not quit anything so, apart from my corporate job. Genuinely, I haven't. But
Maybe sleep.
I
Sleep and your business.
no, but I.
But that's not for the better.
Yeah, that's not the best decision. But okay, so I think I can give an example. I can answer this through an example. I have a product, Himalayan pink salt.
Yeah.
That was my one of the first products, along with coconut sugar. This product comes from Pakistan. It only comes from Pakistan. It does not come from India. It only does come from Pakistan. It is imported. We pay 100% duty on it and all of those things. Okay. It is an expensive product. When I was in the market initially, when I started Kokos, pink salt, I was the only one, the first and the only one doing it in powder form. The other ones were, I think, the bigger brands like Tata, Kia. They were doing the granules and
Yeah.
grind. that kind of a situation. So I wanted to do a powder because it was more functional and easy to use. So that was my first thing, coming in a Ziploc, nothing heavy. All of those things were taken into account, and that was the first product that I did. And it sold expensive. It was still cheaper than Tata and KR, but I was still on the expensive side in general for a salt. So, and Himalayan pink salt is Himalayan pink salt.
Yeah.
As many experts on social media will tell you that it's the same as senda namak and rock salt and this salt and that salt. It's not. It comes from one particular place, and that is why it's pure. It's purest because it's one of the oldest mountains, and that's why it's pure. So there's a whole thing to it, okay? And people must read to understand what it is. So anyway, what happened is a very big player entered the market of um, pink salt.
Bigger than Tata.
Yeah, much bigger because he invested more, and that
Wow.
was, I mean, like, maybe we'll name it, but but so much. I mean, the player, maybe, I mean, he may have come from a particular background, but he had a lot of capital to put into this new product. So this brand became really big, synonymous with pink salt, and everybody was buying the same product. He had celebrities do his ads in the middle of IPL and
Wow.
things like that. Okay, so obviously he was a big player. So okay, great, good for him. But the only thing was that they market it as healthy salt, right? They don't say Himalayan pink salt hai ya ye hai wo hai. And I don't know how it happened that it was what I was selling 200 grams for, he was selling 1 kg for. So he was far cheaper than I was. And what happened with that effect? Not only was it cheaper, but also as it looks pink, right? So yehi sab, everything became one. So now if you go on Amazon, if you type Himalayan pink salt, the titles on every salt product would be rock salt slash pink salt slash Himalayan pink salt slash senda namak slash everything. It's all generalized. Even if you talk to a manufacturer, he'll be like, हाँ सब सेम ही यार, बता दो आपको कौन सा वाला ये चाहिए,
Color
ग्रेड
चाहिए,
चाहिए,
grade.
ग्रेड और कलर चाहिए, वो उतना बता दो, बस that's it. Like it's literally how they talk. Even the manufacturers, even the people in India supplying to you, they'll be like, ये आप बता दो बस क्या चाहिए. So what happened with that was pink salt being one of, I think it was doing even better than coconut sugar for me. It was my highest selling product. It was selling like hot cakes, I kid you not. It was so good because I was over the moon with what we built with Himalayan pink salt, because the first thing that we did was powder form, and we were very proud. So coming to this effect that happened and kind of just threw everything out for us, um, it I it sits down at number 1,000 or something now for me. Like, it's, I mean, on these platforms it doesn't even sell very well. I haven't, but what sort of, I wouldn't say quit, but what the pivot that happens is, then you find at the time what was happening was that I knew that I had to only focus on, say, certain kind of products only.
Yeah.
Like, and then I was like, no, I can go a little bit beyond that. And that's why, like, another sister company of Kokos Natural, like Organic Choice,
Yeah.
was also born out of all of those things, because I think that the good decisions that happen after understanding what happens when someone comes in and changes the category of the product altogether. So that was a big thing that was, I think, made me quit on that product completely. Like, I don't even, like, initially I spent a lot of resources and money and everything on getting it back up. But I think that was a waste of time. Once you change somebody's perspective on that much of a mass level, you can't bring it back. So you need to quit on that idea. I can't bring that back. Right? I can't do it anymore. So,
Fair enough. I mean, it takes a lot to like kill a product and
Yeah.
branch out, but if it's
yeah.
important, it's important.
But killing the product was a big stab to the heart.
Yeah, it's
because
almost
it
like
was a-
firing someone.
Yeah.
It's
It
something
was
that's
really-
working for you that you have to let go of.
It was really, really tough. I mean, I still do it. It still sells, but what numbers I would get in the past, it's just not the same anymore, and that really stings me a lot, because the quality is so good, and we've never really compromised on that ever, because we knew we can still do it, right? Like, it's not like I can't. I can also sell rock salt and
Correct.
say it's
Yeah.
the same thing, but yeah, we'll maintain the same thing and the same price. Yeah.
Fair. But yeah, thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure to learn about like the entire industry and also like your journey. It's been pretty cool. Like a lot of it has been chance, a lot of it has been like ups and downs. So it's been cool.
Absolutely. It was a pleasure for me too. It was
Yeah,
fun.
we hope you
and
enjoyed
it
the
was,
format and
It was fun. I loved the games. I loved everything about this podcast. It was very easy. And I like that a lot. It's not very technical, not very,
yeah,
and it's not boring. That's